Hey guys, welcome to our second podcast. I'm Jeff, this is Dan.
Hi guys.
And today we're going to be going through what games actually mean to us. So what do they mean to us personally, how we came to engage with games, and how important they are to our lives. So, Dan, what do games mean for you, mate?
For me, it's a way of spending time with family. Like really, you can switch everything off. You can switch all your devices off. You can lock the doors and crack out a good board game. It's spending that quality time with people and engaging. Or you engage your brain as well. You've really got to switch on when playing board games. But it's having that more of an analog experience. And for me, a lot of it is creating memories with my loved ones or my friends. There's just something special about sitting down and throwing dice with people, and you can really engender some really strong bonds with people over board games, any tabletop gaming experience, really, for me.
Yep.
And yourself?
For me, I think, to be honest, I think it's the most competitive I can be without playing like sports or something like that, right? Yeah. So when I was a kid, me and my close friends were always like super competitive, and a lot of that sort of was the outlet of that was sports. I grew up in the country, and so sports like we'd be playing tennis, we'd be playing golf, we'd be playing cricket, we'd be playing indoor soccer, and so there was a real level of competitiveness there. Yeah. And I think as I've gotten older, it's probably harder to engage at a competitive level in sports, like particularly team sports, right? Yeah. I don't think I've played a team sport apart from mixed netball for years and years and years, right?
The body doesn't bounce back like it used to, does it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, it's a real way of stretching myself competitively, but using my brain, and something that I just absolutely love doing. Yep. I love the competitiveness of it, but I actually don't. It's not like I'm competitive and if I lose, I just toss the table.
Absolutely.
And I'm competitive in that I want to be competing at 100% of my abilities, and I actually don't necessarily mind if I don't win it and someone's
of course
played better than me. So
yeah, you're still a good sportsman even if you don't win. So that's always an important attitude to have around gaming. So
yeah. So I think that's for me, and I probably that comes through in some of the games that I choose as well. Yeah. Like, and even when I'm playing cooperative games, like I like to still win with the team against the board or whatever we're playing against. So so I think that's me. Yeah. There's obviously like a family aspect to it as well. Like games are a way of togetherness, and particularly with friends and family and people that are important to you. Like there's a different layer to playing a game with some people that you just love spending time with to just playing just a game. So I think it's again about bonding and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of your history with gaming and sort of where you grew the love of it, where did that come from?
I think a lot of it came from sort of my outside interests as a child. I was always more of I enjoyed my history, I enjoyed my science fiction. I was watching Star Wars when there was only 3 Star Wars films. So that love of science fiction, that love of fantasy and real human history as well, really. Like I was always fascinated with history books, and then when I started discovering some of the war games where there was again, Risk is a very primitive sort of war game effectively, and then always being around gaming as well. Like there was always a Monopoly or a Cluedo, and it was always something to do when we went on holidays. Some of my memories of getting the love of gaming was sitting in a tent with my family when it was peeing down with rain on the south coast of England, and we're all inside playing like Monopoly and Cluedo and whatever we could because we just couldn't get outside this tent. It was heaving it down. So yeah, there's just a few of those, and then that carried over to when we were at home. That really grew from there. It was we'll sit down and play some board games together, and from there it sort of led on, and then through the teenage years the interest waned a little bit. I think we all go through the high school thing where we're too busy with sports, or we're too busy not admitting we play board games to everyone around us.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Other interests.
But then, rediscovering that sort of very late teens, early 20s, and then when the board game scene blew up and really, there was a hell of a lot more designers coming out with some really interesting concepts. Around the time when I met my partner, my now wife, we had that shared interest of, I enjoy some board games, and then from there it's carried on family-wise. I've been able to pass that on to my daughter now as well, who's absolutely loving board games too. So, yeah, that's sort of my little bit of a journey for that one. So, yeah, yourself?
It did definitely start with family.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably my sisters and I were the main sort of, people that were gaming in the family, but also Dad and I always used to sit down for a game of chess. Yeah. I think we talked a little bit about this in our previous podcast, but so I think that level of competition, again, probably grew from probably chess, to be honest, and that drive to, potentially beat Dad for the first time in my entire life. And I didn't get to do it until I was sort of in my early 20s. So, I think also my sisters and I, we always had a level of competitiveness.
Sibling rivalry,
sibling rivalry, So we got to have a healthy outlet for the most part for that, as opposed to an unhealthy outlet of sibling rivalry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was a good aspect of gaming. And then it later sort of evolved into just meeting up with friends regularly and a regular friend event. And then I think I got more involved in game design, and I got more involved in gaming groups that were outside of that sort of narrow group that I'd already sort of joined. Yep. And had been playing with for years and years and years, and then when I joined Tabletop Warfare and sort of started being around games 24/7, and it was always in my mind, I think now it's definitely evolved to being more competitive again with games and playing against people that are far better than me at my chosen game that I play a lot of, which is Flesh and Blood, which is a TCG. And because of that, I think I'm meeting new people and probably learning new skills and delving super deep into the game and getting better at that. So,
of course. It's always a benefit. The more people you play and the more people you meet in the community, the more skills you do acquire along the way. And, we've got some extremely talented players who come in and I can't make sense of what they're doing. I'm like, how did you do that? But some very, very talented players out there. It's always good to learn from others as well.
It is. Yep. I think I find that constantly as well. I'm learning a lot from others in the community. I think the community is also a big part of it for me at the moment as well. I just love being part of the community and building the community, and I think I get great pleasure from that. Yeah,
that's again, I get great satisfaction from the all aspects of gaming. It's always the community around that game, no matter what the game is. If you got community around, it can be such a wonderful thing, and so many different characters around, and people you can learn from, and people you can teach skills to as well. So, it's a privilege.
Yep.
To be around these communities. So, absolutely.
I think you just touched on something as well for me that I really love. New players. I really love introducing new people to the game system and or games in general. But I love being able to teach games and share some of that. I guess hard-earned wisdom about how the game's played and how the strategies and that sort of thing. And I think I really enjoy that aspect right now where I'm at in my life. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very much the same. For me, being able to show people, for example, the new Star Wars Unlimited TCG was just so good. Once you played a few intro games, and then you just saw people's face light up when they were, oh, this is amazing, it's a really good game. So just being able to interact with those people, and then you see those people learning the game, and they're outpacing you with what they're learning. It's so good. It's like watching you. Watching the little birdies fly off, it's like, I'm so proud. And then they kick your backside and you're like, yeah, I'm not so proud anymore.
I was just thinking exactly that.
Yeah. Damn it, you weren't meant to beat me.
Yeah. But then when those people get so engrossed in the game, and then they start bringing new people in as well, and getting that experience, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding experience for myself, and that's what I love out of board gaming as well, is that just that reward of seeing people enjoy whatever you're introducing them to. So
I also love when you're showing a new game that people may never have heard of before, never have seen, and it's just like a totally new experience for them. Like you touched on the Star Wars Unlimited, and it was a great experience being able to teach new players how to play Star Wars Unlimited, because obviously we had it at the front of the store and had it available for people to just like jump into, and I reckon I got to teach maybe 4 or 5 people, including yourself actually, how to play that game, although I did mess up a rule there, but about shields. But I think being able to teach that game and just see the joy of a really, really well-designed game. That's great.
I also love one aspect of certainly board games as well, is when you sit down together with people who none of you have played this board game. Like with Air, Land and Sea, I believe it was, we sat down and played. The fact that neither of us played, but we sat down there and we just figured it out together, that shared experience of discovering something new together, there's something special about that. For me, is we didn't really know what this game is, but we got pretty much all the rules well, and we had a really good experience, and wrapping your head around it together is just that really rewarding. It's a good bonding experience, I think, as well. So absolutely.
And you played extremely well in that game too. I think it was your history coming out.
History's coming out, yes. I won't beat you with flesh and blood, but I got you at that one. It's okay. You can let me have my win for that one.
That's a terrific game though. So
it was a good
really,
game.
really good. Yeah. And I mean, the cool thing for me about that game is I bought that, it was like $30 or whatever it was. You and I played it, and I saw how much you loved that game and engaged with that game. And then I was able to pack it up, hand it off to you, and you're now able to play that with your family.
That's it. They're sitting there going, oh, we'll learn this. I'm like, yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. So always show them something new. So.
Yeah. Sometimes though, I do find showing new games, well, when you're all learning the same game all at once, sometimes some people don't engage with that really well. They need people that know the game really well and just teach it. And I think there's real value in being able to like teach a game in a really efficient amount of time, so you still have that amount of interest in the game and engagement.
I think we touched on that last time about being able to engage people there, and I think if you've got a bit more of a board game background, it's easier to stay engaged when you're all learning as a group together. But certainly when someone's completely brand new to the whole idea of board games as well, it's much easier to be able to just know and rattle off some basic rules to get you going. So. But again, that's also rewarding in itself when you've passed on that knowledge. So,
can you think of a time when you've had like the best game experience you've ever had? Something that like it just highlighted in your brain as something you treasure, a memory that you'll treasure forever?
Again, touched on it briefly earlier, but there's little memories like sitting in a tent in the wet on the south coast of England.
Yeah, I quite enjoy that story.
Just it's south coast of England. It's always wet, but just you're all wrapped up and you're rugged up because it's windy as well, and you're cold and you're inside this tent. But just the idea of we're all together. It doesn't matter what's happening outside. And again, there's been similar experiences later on, but that one really springs to mind for me.
Yep.
It's a really vivid memory, being able to be together. It doesn't matter what's happening outside. You're together, and that's all that matters, and you're having fun with this shared experience.
Yep.
For me. So, how about yourself?
That's really nice. Mine is probably, there's a game called Avalon. Have you ever played that? It's a social deduction game, and so you're sitting around in a circle, and some people have hidden roles where they know they're bad, the rest are good, and the bad guys know each other, the good guys don't know anything, basically. And I happened to be one of the bad guys, and I was playing against this guy who, playing as a bad guy against the good guys, and there was this one particular interaction I had with this one particular guy who had called me out for something, and I was like, I called him out, so saying that he was the bad guy, and so we had this like interaction where he knew obviously that I was bad, I knew obviously that I was bad, but the rest of the group had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, you just had to be convincing.
I had to be convincing, right? And anyway, the game progressed, and we got towards the end of the game, and everyone else around the table was sure that one of us was bad, but didn't really know what was going on. And then at the end of the game happens, and I flip over that the bad guys had won. I flip over that I'm bad, and he goes, "I knew it!" Oh man! And I just absolutely, that type of experience with board games is just so precious for me.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that was with the game group that I've been playing games with for like 10 years. So it was just a great experience. And
That's brilliant. Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that as well. I can see you just trying to convince everyone.
And I had some of them swayed, but yeah.
Some people know you far too well.
They think I'm too good at those games, which I'm definitely not. Well, anyway, we're probably at the end of our filming, so we'd better wrap this up.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks everyone so much for tuning in again and watching our podcast. Once again, I'm Jeff.
I'm Dan.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks.
Bye-bye.